So, we currently have a Secret Santa, and everyone has to do a handmade gift. This is my handmade gift for my father-in-law, Dell, a fanfic story about his life. Let me tell you a story about Dell, an old man with a thin and sleek mustache. More importantly, the most eligible bachelor in all of Renner. Dell is pure, kind-hearted, and only hates two things: big business taking over small business, and Jeff Gordon. This is his origin story. I present to you the legend of Deltron and the Boys. Dell spent his life working at Campbell's, a blue-collar retail store. One day, they sold out to big corporate giant Runnings. Dell swore to never buy from this store again. Thankfully, Dell was one resourceful man and could handle himself. Dell became a do-it-all handyman. Plumbing, electrical work, you name it. Dell did it for $50 or less. One day, Dell realized something. His shed was out of place somehow. He then remembered he found a use for that thing yesterday. Man, that's been happening a lot lately, Dell thought to himself. Dell realized there was a bigger issue, though. Ever since Campbell's was bought out, there were no local suppliers of his favorite watch and black pants. His watch broke, and his last pair of black pants ripped on the same day. Dell drove back to his shed, threw away the respective items, and took out the trash. Dell proclaimed, "If I was married, this shed would never be empty again." The next morning, Dell felt defeated. With no pants, watch, and stuff he swears he has a use for later, Dell would have to go to the building he once worked at. Once Dell entered Runnings, he had seen the most beautiful woman. Her name, Sharon. "Welcome to Runnings," she said. Dell was nervous and could only say one thing. "Water boils at a higher temperature and higher elevations." Dell ran away, embarrassed, because he knew that water boils at a lower temperature and higher elevations. Dell has literally never been wrong in his entire life until this point. After that embarrassing debacle, he stumbles into Roy, the wise greeter. Roy was on break and had time for Dell. After Dell explained his predicament, Roy took him to an aisle with both black pants and metal watches. Roy started to explain something about them, but Dell grabbed the two items and stopped listening. Dell went to the self-checkout because he was way too nervous to talk to Sharon. Dell put his watch on. As he left Runnings, he takes one last glance at Sharon. He muttered to himself, "I really want to ask Sharon out. I know I'm a Renner 10, but that's like a Sioux Falls 6 or something. Something crazy would have to happen to get her to say yes if I asked her out. Man, I really wish something like that would happen." Dell then saw Jeff Gordon walk inside. Dell didn't know why Jeff Gordon was here, but he can stick it. Dell got home and realized he forgot groceries. He only had noodles, potatoes, and some canned calamari. Dell sighed. "I really wish I had some friends who could help me with whatever I needed in order to ask Sharon out." The canned calamari turned into parkward. The noodles turned into bready spaghetti. And the potatoes turned into Tate, the Tot. Dell was blown away. He had 3 talking foods as best friends now. "How are you guys alive? I don't understand," Dell asked. "Didn't Roy tell you about the watch's wish-granting abilities?" Parkward asked. Parkward would explain the watch's wish-granting powers to Dell. He further explained how you don't always get 100% of what you want. So Dell had to be careful about what he wished for. Dell had lots of questions about his pants. Unfortunately, none of his friends knew the power his pants held. Dell then realized if he had wished for friends, and that came true, then maybe he just needs to go back to Runnings and Sharon will say yes. Dell and the boys got in his F-150, they got to Runnings, and Sharon was gone. Roy was on break again. He started telling Dell that Jeff Gordon was here and had an important message for Dell. Dell said, "Jeff Gordon? Fuck that guy." Parkward then said, "Dell, I think Roy has more to tell you. It could help." Roy was going to tell Dell that Jeff left him a letter of instructions. Furthermore, Roy was going to explain how his pants were magical, but Dell didn't need a manufacturer's suggestion of a plan. He was going to do it his way. Dell decided to knock on every door in the neighborhood. Tate then asked, maybe you should just, text, call, and email everyone. Use your various clientele instead of asking everyone door to door? Dell didn't have time for the potential errors caused by modern technology. He built his handyman business going door to door. He was doing it his way. The first house made the same suggestion as Parkwood. The second made the same one as Tate. The third one was a promiscuous woman who needed her plumbing fixed, so she claimed. Dell never fails his call to duty. Dell sprinted to his truck to get his stuff. Bready Spaghetti, on the other hand, knows when someone could get their noodle wet. So he asked, "Geez, Dell, how you getting all them ladies? You got a hammer in that pants of yours or what?" "I do have a hammer in my pants," Dell replied, having no idea of what Brett meant. However, Dell's pants did feel heavy, and there was another hammer in his pants. Dell realized he could conjure anything in his pants. "I have a Built-Right Industries rear seat release kit in my pants." Dell pulled it out. "Awesome! I hope I never get shitty gifts like this from my son-in-law." Brady then said, "Dude, seriously, that woman would do anything for you in there. Just ask her." Dell would go inside, ignore the woman's advances, and fix her plumbing. Dell took about 2 hours to finally diagnose the problem, but he needed a 14-inch pipe wrench, not a 10-inch pipe wrench, to do this job. In response, Brady said, "Just say you have one in your pants." But Brady was too opinionated. Dell wasn't going to let him be right. Dell went back to Runnings. He was doing it his way. Dell figured, while he was there, he could just ask Roy about Jeff Gordon's whereabouts, too. Roy, who was on his break, explained Jeff Gordon's whereabouts, what the pants and watch do, and this time Dell was fully prepared, and he still bought the 14-inch pipe wrench, despite Brady's opinion. Roy was saying something about how he couldn't go in the break room, but Dell didn't care. He went to the promiscuous woman's house, fixed her plumbing for free. Dell couldn't collect the bill because he had no time to lose. Sharon was in danger. He drove back to Runnings. He walked into the back in the lumber yard, and there he was, Jeff Gordon, taking a nap because he didn't think it would take Dell so goddamn long to find him. Dell woke Jeff Gordon up. "Where's Sharon?" he asked. "Ah, finally, you sprung into my trap," Jeff Gordon replied. "With you out of the picture, I will be Sharon's one true love." "What's your plan?" Dell asked. "All right, to be honest, I had 3 assassins and 2 snipers set up to ensure your demise. However, since only one of them could kill you, I decided to pay them hourly," Gordon explained. "Why didn't you divide the contract 5 ways and give a bonus to the executor for incentive?" Parkwood asked. "You always were a dumb fucking pretty boy, Jeff Gordon," Dell said. "I challenge you to a race." Jeff Gordon laughed. "With what race car?" Tate replied, "Just say you have $1 billion in your pants and then use your connections to get a car here." Dell seemed unsure. "Or just hire his assassins," Brady added. Dell wasn't listening to Brady anytime soon, so Dell said, "Thanks, Tate. I know what to do now." He stared Gordon down. "I have a 1968 Mustang with an overchrome finish in my pants," Dell proclaimed. The boys shook in fear. They were worried his pants might rip or the car could crush him. Dell reached into his pants and pulled out a mint-condition Hot Wheel. Dell knew that his pants had physical limitations. He then repeated the phrase 100 more times, all because he knew that this Hot Wheel was worth $40,000 each. He then used Tate's previous advice about his clientele. Dell remembered the lady from before. On several occasions, she mentioned she had an OnlyFans and was a single mother. Dell remembered that Brady said she would do anything for him, so Dell asked her to promote all of his Hot Wheels on her OnlyFans, and she did. In a matter of 4 hours, Dell had accumulated $2 million in wealth after the lady took her cut. He then called Tony Stewart. Dell paid the fees to get Tony's car flown over to him. There was only one problem, though. Jeff never accepted his challenge and wasn't going to pay for his car to be flown in, too. Dell was stunned. His flawless plan backfired, all because Gordon was such a worthy adversary. Also, Jeff Gordon was now holding the boys at gunpoint. Jeff mocked him. "What will you do now?" Del replied, "I honestly don't know. I don't want you to hurt them. I just wish the boys would all become my son-in-laws someday." Jeff, being the dumb fucking pretty boy that he is, couldn't figure out how to turn the safety off. Del then pulled out the 14-inch pipe wrench and gave Gordon the torquiest titty twister ever. Jeff Gordon pleaded, "Please let me go, Deltron. You're so cool and awesome. I envy your entourage. I will sell Campbell's to you for like one Hot Wheel. I'll let Sharon go, I promise." Del agreed to these terms. Jeff took Del to the break room. He found Sharon tied up there. "You're safe," Del proclaimed. "Who are you?" Sharon asked. "Don't you remember?" Jeff Gordon yelled. "When I asked you out, you said you were dating him." Sharon replied, "Well, Jeff, I know you own Runnings, but I'm not dating some dumb fucking pretty boy who sucks at racing. I only said that to get you off my back." The boys then chanted to Deltron, "Ask her out. Ask her out. Ask her out." So Deltron asked Sharon, "Will you go out with me?" Sharon seemed hesitant, but then a voice called, "He's a great man. I'd know. He's pure, and he loves you, Sharon." It was the promiscuous single mother. The lady took her wig off. Sharon was taken aback. "Don, it's you!" Sharon screamed. Sharon gave her best friend a big hug. "He would be so great to Sarah, Bailey, and Emily," Don said. Sharon looked at Del and said, "Well, I'm thinking I would love to go out with you." On the first date, Sharon would confide in Del, "My daughters are all adults. 31 years ago, I wanted kids, but no man was good enough for me. I went to the sperm bank to pick up a suitable donor. The results were so good on the first try, I figured, why not the same guy 3 times? Del replied, "That's a weird coincidence because I went to the bank 32 years ago and got a request to come back twice." After the first date, they would verify. Del is the girl's biological father. Del then said, "Wow, I wish the boys were fully human and that they would give me 3 grandkids." Deltron would take one last look at his watch and smile. Tomorrow, he and his wife got to work at Campbell's. All right, love you, Del. Just so you know, Benny loves you too. He was here the whole time.